Oh, okay. That's weird. Was getting an error message until I pressed start streaming, and now I'm not getting an error message. Anyways, still have to enable my MIDI recording in case something magical happens. There we go. Okay, nobody has seen this, alright? I'm just going to play the piano and then we're going to act as if that was the start of the stream all along. Welcome everybody to this 30-second piano hangout stream. Yes, I've been doing this with y'all for more than a year now. Not every week, but approximately once every 2 weeks. And it's been a while because I think last week was streaming time, but then of course we got the gameplay demonstration. Couldn't stream then, of course. I had to get on that arranging train pronto. And then I also was under the weather for some reason. There was apparently a virus going on in the school my kid was. So nothing too bad, but just yeah, I will spare you the details. Let's just keep it at that. But now I'm feeling reasonably well. How's everybody doing? Let me catch up with the chat a little bit. Hi Skelly, welkom. Ulysses, Rachel, good morning. Hello to Skelly's cat as well. Aspiring Heroes, hi, hi. Scott. Graham Crackers. Annabelle, hi. Arpines, Elias Skyhawk, Coffee C. This time I was prepared. I already drank my coffee before the stream started, instead of having to do it during the stream and making horrible mouth noises. But then the stream started a few minutes late, so something in my planning is still a little bit suboptimal. Hey, Lord Brit, what's up? Grix, Mickey, hi, hi, Axel. Lots of folks in the chat, that's very nice. Hey, hey, Silly K says hello from Madrid. Hi from Enschede. Not as well known a city, but you know, it's where I live. Scully asks, how were the stroopwafels? Those were mergpijpjes, actually. Hey, Altar. Fanatic Chain, welcome. Scott Boyack says, I have reached a momentous moment in history. I've officially watched 100% of all stream footage on this channel for work, and I have nothing else to watch. I am at a crossroads. Yeah, maybe just for you, Scott, I should be streaming weekly instead of bi-weekly. Cuckoo songs. Yeah, we can get some Cuckoo songs today. That's not going to be a problem. Hey, Backpack Studios, welcome. So this is a regular piano hangout stream. I wanted to talk a little bit about the music in the gameplay demonstration, just because it was very interesting and inspiring, especially a certain segment that I really like to talk about. Curious what you all thought of the gameplay demo. It's been a week already, more than a week. I thought it looked excellent. They're still being super coy about the entire game. Felt a little bit like Mr. Aonuma had something like, okay, I have to show something because the marketing people are going crazy. We can't release this game without any marketing. But I'll just show the starting area and only from certain angles. And I'll show 4 of the abilities, but also very situational. They're still not showing their full hand, which is interesting. I really loved the new instrumentation, as I wrote in the community post. So the Sky Islands have a completely different sound compared to anything that was in Breath of the Wild. Except for the cold music, which is still the same, which I'm a little bit iffy about. And the stables music is still the same, and the horse riding music is still the same. But I think that's part of their marketing plan, to market this as, yeah, it's Breath of the Wild, but more, and we're not showing you what's special about this because we don't want to show too much. But still, the phasing through ceilings things was very cool. I was personally extra excited about the mushroom shield. When he fused the mushroom to his shield, it was like, what use does this have? And it was very fun and surprising. Now I'm asking myself what will happen if you're fusing a stamella shroom or one of the mushrooms from Breath of the Wild proper. Very curious about that. And the cave. Now, when they entered the cave, the soundscape completely changed. And it made me wonder, maybe this game is like essentially what Hyrule Castle was for Breath of the Wild. So indoor and outdoor vertical stuff like Labyrinthine. But then spread over the entire game world, if you can also go underground, under Hyrule, so to speak. Then that's very interesting. And these island chunks, not only on the islands, but also in the islands, there's stuff. And I think that's very, very interesting. Thank you, Axel1534, for the kind words. Glad you like it. I also want to do an orchestral version of the new music soon. Rachel got the collector's edition. Me too. Got it quite quickly, fortunately. Just hoping that it arrives on release day, but that's all right. Yeah, the Ultra Hand and Fuse stuff was weird. Jacob, or whatever, says, the gameplay was amazing, but I'm confused about why people seem to have talked about it much less than the last trailer did when it came out. Yeah, it's a little bit less spectacular, so to speak. Like, narrative stuff is I think, much more hypey for a lot of people. However, I think this gameplay demonstration has a lot more views on YouTube, so I think folks other than Zelda nerds like us are watching, might be more interested in gameplay stuff compared to narrative trailers. Might have to check that, but I remember reading something like that there's this crazy amount of views on this gameplay demo. Hey, Victoria. Scott says the English translation voice for Nintendo is the funniest thing ever. Yeah, I watched the Dutch version, which had subtitles and then just the Japanese voiceover. I think most versions of the video are subtitled without voiceover, but the American version is voiceover for some reason. Beatles back, oh yeah. Victoria says, I pre-ordered mine from GameStop and they told me They might do an early release since a lot of people pre-ordered it at that location. They told me I might be able to get it a day early. Ooh yeah! I'm getting it through the mail. Through a game store somewhere in the Netherlands that I use often. A smaller one. Silly K says, I have an unrealistic wish for the game and would love to reach the moon. To the moon! Especially after seeing that the red moon is a thing and that we go up. I've read that on the interwebs too. I think that's not out of the question. It would be a little bit weird though. But you know, if you see videos of people playing Breath of the Wild and going very high up in the air, then... like in Breath of the Wild already, the game engine is able to segue seamlessly to an above the atmosphere vantage point where you see what looks very spacey. So, you know, from a technical point of view, that's definitely possible. I would love some really weird islands very up high. Curious about that. Meat arrows. Oh yeah, meat cannons. A booty ding. Fanatic Chain says, you're a big inspiration to me. Aw, thank you. When people asked what I wanted my piano skills to sound like, I showed them one of your videos. Thanks so much, Fanatic Chain. Lots and lots of playing. Backpack Studios asks, what are you most excited for in Tears of the Kingdom? There's one screenshot that's not a very spectacular looking screenshot, but it's my favorite one that gets me excited. It's a screenshot from the from the February trailer, was released then. You see Link shooting a homing arrow at one of those yellow bird things, and it's somewhere in the neighborhood of it's in the Faron region somewhere. But there's a cave in the side of a hill that wasn't there before, and that screenshot gets me hyped the most for some weird reason, because I do like revisiting that Hyrule, especially if, you know, both the caves on the lower z-axis and the caves on the higher z-axis and the islands on the higher z-axis make discovery even more inspiring, I think, to me, because then there could always be a cavern under your feet. There could always be an island somewhere up high that you're unable to see just yet, and I think that's very interesting. I also like that the abilities are completely different. I mean, the Sheikah Slate is cool and all, but, you know, get new gameplay possibilities, that's where it's at for me. So very happy that they showed completely new abilities, and some people even think there'll be even more abilities, because there's the golden abilities and there's the green abilities. Like the recall ability had a golden glow, and the other three abilities had a green glow. And when you look at some of the released art, then it can be said that there will be more of these golden abilities with a kanji on his hand. So that would be awesome if there's even more weird abilities. Homing arrows are cool, of course, yeah. But Skelly says, to be honest, the Netherlands only has like 3 voice actors, so I understand. Drives me nuts. When stuff is dubbed in the Netherlands, there's like 6 people in Amsterdam that get all the gigs. So everything sounds alike here. Tomorrow I'm going to the Mario movie with my kid, by the way, and I wanted to go to the international version real bad. But he's old enough to read subtitles, so that's going to be fine. A Korok with a backpack. Oh yeah, that was so cute. Link's going to space. Hey Alexander, je bent er, welkom. Public service announcement from Aspiring Hero Games. The Collector's Edition in the UK is only becoming available on Nintendo's website next week or something, only if you pre-registered interest, so that's something you might try if you're in the UK. Otherwise, you had to be one of the lucky few able to pre-order it elsewhere. Yeah. I would also love to get some Skyward Sword nods, yeah. It would be cool if Skyloft was still there in some form. Maybe it's inhabited by completely different creatures. That would be interesting. 35 days until the game comes out. That's super quick. Like the week before it releases, I'm away on holidays. And April will probably be a little bit more sunny. So I think this coming period will go very quickly for me. It's still a little bit unreal that this game is coming out at all. They're still so coy about this. Ulysses says, by the way, Tim, today is the day I'm buying my first piano. Ooh, congrats. What kind of piano is it? Acoustic? Digital? This game is gonna be so memey with all the creativity you can do. That's probably also part of their marketing strategy, to let the creativity of the players do the marketing post-release. I would not say no to a playable Zelda. I would actually love that, especially if they can make it interesting in a gameplay standpoint. Like having to switch characters may be something like tedious, but maybe they can think of an interesting way to make that interesting. Maybe for certain segments of the story. I would love some more action from Zelda in the series that's named after her, after all. Silikay asks, do you think we will see new races? I hope so. Maybe we'll get the mole people back from Skyward Sword. But I do really hope for something genuinely new. You know, I kind of like fan service, but I like new stuff even more. So the Rito and the Zora and the Goron and Gerudo stuff and stuff like that, I like that. But I think I would love it even more if they get some new, interesting and weird races in. Good evening, Yue. Welcome. Hey, Day. Welcome and good night. Digital piano is definitely a lot more practical. In general, not only for beginners, but for me as well. I also have a grand piano in the living room, but that's recreational. This is my work and recording piano. How about I play some music for y'all? Wouldn't that be nice? I also want to look at the gameplay footage later, but first let's play some piano. I can try playing the new music. Let's give that a try. Opening MuseScore so I can read the sheet music. There we go. Let's give this a try, so that we're nice in the right mood, so to speak. Yeah, let's do that again. Yeah, I was thinking that the Deku tree is gone. Maybe it's in space. Maybe the Deku tree also went upwards. Then you can get some Korok Forest in the air vibes. That'd be interesting. You were asked if it was my preference to play acoustic or digital piano. If I'm really playing for my own... Like, I love playing the piano for my own personal, like, mental regulation. If I'm feeling down, or if it's a lovely, lazy Sunday afternoon or something, then I love playing my grand piano just to set a nice mood and let the entire room reverberate. Because like a grand piano essentially is one enormous big speaker. So if you're playing, you're really enveloped in the sound. A digital piano, I love playing with headphones on, because then the sound is really close. It's more intimate and a more detailed experience. I also love doing that. But if I'm playing like for pleasure, then I prefer playing the grand piano. And many of the original pieces on my Spotify, for example, or on my channel, for example, the recent Eulogy for the Vanished track that I wrote, those are improvisations that I make on the grand piano. And then if something is interesting, then I try to remember it, and then I try to play it on the digital piano so I can record it more easily. Yeah, is it time for Cuckoo action already, or is it too early for Cuckoo action? Yesterday I was playing Piano Man and Improv Theater performance. So I already have all my weirdness kind of purged from me. I'm kind of zen right now, but we could do some Cuckoo stuff. Yeah. Okay. Something completely different. Then we're going back to the zen-like mood stuff. Okay, Cuckoo time. Oh my god, it's the Triforce of Poultry, everybody. Imagine someone new joins the stream. This is the first thing they hear, Victoria says. Cuckoo raise, oh yeah, time for Cuckoo solo, how about that? We want to change keys. Oh my god, this is awful. It's almost as bad as my mouth trumpet. Tim, I think you found your niche, UA says. I think that's enough. Oh my god. Hi, roommates of Omodayo. Glad that you're confused. April Fool's Cuckoo album, yes. Chicken opera? How would that work? The amount of viewers, simultaneous viewers of this stream, has risen since I started clucking like a chicken. So must not do that too often, unless that, you know, that might become my legacy if I do that too much. We need an album. We can do a chicken polka album next year for the April Fools. All right, that's enough. Oh my God, no, everybody's leaving. Now there's less simultaneous viewers. Maybe the chicken thing was a fluke. Nonsense. I love it. I love me some nonsense. In ieder geval, maybe we can do something a little bit more serious. How about we look at the footage a little bit and talk about that music from the gameplay demo. I think that's an interesting idea. There's a channel called Zelda Lore, and they've uploaded a version of the gameplay stuff without the voiceover. They ran it through a filter in which you can remove voice, which is very interesting. And there were some cool things that I wanted to chat with y'all about in this gameplay demo. So let's see if I can make that look not horrible. There we go. So that's very cool of that channel. So the channel is called Zelda Lore. Check it out. And they have this devoicified version on there. And something that I noticed in the beginning, because when Aonuma is talking, you cannot hear it, but there's actually, seems like there's more audio or like music gluing together the audio in the on the overworld. So you hear that? So before the horse riding starts, there's a sort of piano motif, and then a pad starts playing. Before the horseback riding music starts. So that leads me to believe also the music on the Sky Islands, that there will be a lot more underscore, like music, just less silence, so to speak. So that's cool. And of course they have the new combat music when they near the automata here, or the golems. Just tiny bits you can hear of that. But that's just a little detail that I noticed. I wanted to talk about the Sky Island music, of course. Let's see. So the Sky Islands have a completely new musical style. It's like clarinets or saxophones or something like that in a section. Of course, there's some you hear some glitches in music because the audio of the voice is filtered out. Yeah, they're woodwinds. I was thinking clarinets, but Sam from ZREO thought they were saxophones. He probably knows better than I. Hear that? So the music starts right away after the combat is over. But you know, the way that that this music seems to work is the similar system as Breath of the Wild. So there is a large package, so to speak, of... there we hear the saxophones again. There's an assortment of like 5-second, maybe 10-second, just really relaxed tones. And those can be like randomly selected from or based on the environment. And in Breath of the Wild, of course, they use music stingers for that, little music segment, piano segments for that, and it could also be played in reverse. And here on the Sky Islands, they're using the woodwinds. I love how silly this is, by the way. Just gluing stuff. Also very cute, all the Zelda YouTubers were flipping out when they finally saw the word Zonai appear officially on screen. Yeah, here we have a clear. Yeah, I'd also say clarinet's an English horn or something, but English horn sounds a little bit like saxophones already. So it might just be, I don't know. I'm not sure if it's all saxophones. Like the stuff in the intro, that was saxophone for sure. Yeah, da 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 da. Whatever they were playing. This sounds more like wood and less like saxophones, in my opinion. Such an interesting sound. Something like that. It's like in 9. Whatever. I'll figure that out on my own time. Anyways, hey, Angel of Grace. I wanted to talk about the skydiving stuff because that was like the high point for me in the presentation. And also the cave. Like if you were asking yourself if caves were becoming a big part of this game or just a little thing, just listen to how the soundscape changes. You heard that? So he entered the cave, and as soon as he went over a certain triggering point, there was a sound that was kind of like echoing or reverberating as if it was coming from the cave. You can hear the campfire also reverberating throughout the room. A lot more. So that's it. So that's the kind of detail, like sound-wise, I don't think Breath of the Wild did that. So they obviously have spent a lot of care making sure that the caves sound different and then also, you know, feel different as a result. So yeah, definitely. It's going to be all caves all the time. Yeah, it's lovely. Let's do this one more time because it's tasty. It's so short, but I love it. You could like hear something like, oh, some kind of animal inside of the cave, and then the campfire swirling around. I love it. I love it. But the skydiving music. There's some very cool dynamic music stuff going on in there. So this is a very active piece of music. There's something like a celesta, like a bell piano in the background that's playing something like this. Swirling around. Okay, this is what I wanted to talk about, because as a game music composer, I love this kind of stuff. So it sounds like there's 3 phases in this skydiving music. There's the slow skydiving, which has the celesta with the clarinet going da, 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 and then the flute does something similar soon. Da, da, da. Exactly. And here you can hear how the music is crossfading to a fast skydiving music. So it's still slow, but as soon as he goes sharp down in a diving stance, you can hear the music fading to a different layer where there's multiple woodwinds playing at the same time in a sort of a parallel rising fashion. And then the third phase, of course, is as soon as he does a touchdown, then there's an ending stinger playing. And the ending stinger is very interesting because it sounds a lot like the little piano motif you hear in Breath of the Wild when you discover a new location. Slow. Fast. And ta-da! Something like that, and it sounds very much like the new location found music, which at least to me, like thematically, you're still in sky mode essentially in the skydiving stuff. So you still have the woodwinds, and you have the celesta kind of making the sounds like the air going past. And then as soon as you touch down, you're back on Hyrule, and it sounds like you're back on Hyrule. I think that's very cool. You know, the sound team, the Zelda sound team, is always very mindful of the thematics of the game. So you're still hearing the woodwinds, and as soon as you have that clear touchdown, then the piano comes back, and you're back on Hyrule with the piano sounds, and the woodwinds are gone. I think that's super interesting, and also something that someone said. Let's see. Oh, excuse me. Scott says that ending stinger is also in a 2022 trailer. Yeah, so if you listen closely, this skydiving music is very similar to the first reveal, like the first official trailer, which had a similarly rising so that's definitely a skydiving motif they have going on. Oh, the final splash is lovely, and then the little droplets falling down. Because you're falling at such a high speed, the water gets displaced, and then it takes a while for it to come back down. I love it. I love it. And there's stuff going on here. I'm not sure if that's Satori Mountain, but there's weird stuff going on this mountain here with some creations. It's very interesting. We can take a listen at the September trailer. You can also see my recommendations now, by the way. Zelda September. There we go. Let's see if we can hear the similarities. Starting here. It's in the same key, F minor at least. Bang. Yeah, so they have the similar thing going on with the woodwinds. Keep playing the previous chord. Before the piano really ends stuff. Yeah, they got a cool language going on here, musical language. I don't think that's a coincidence. That's very cool. Very cool. So that had me most hyped, actually. The beginning music, of course, and the ending music, and the skydiving segment. But it's all great. It's great. Let's read some comments that I missed. Joe Miller asks, Tim, do you think that crescendo is is duration based or falling speed based? Not sure if I completely understand. I don't think it's duration based because you can skydive from a multitude of heights. So now he's skydiving from, we can see the z-axis there, like 1300 or something like that. I can't read it exactly. Yeah, 1300. So that probably goes all the way up. Theoretically, it can go to 9,999. But there's islands above this, as we've seen. So no matter the height of the skydiving you're doing, the music can't have a baked-in crescendo and have that be fitting always. So there's probably multiple music layers that fade in based on what's going on. So I think there's there may be something speed-based because, he starts diving down very steeply and the music changes, but it can also be altitude-based. So, for example, around 300 in the z-axis coordinate, music starts changing. So they also could have made something like, okay, when the diving speed is high and the altitude is close to the ground, then we have the crescendo that's starting because we can expect the player to hit the ground soon. Yeah, that's what I would think. And that's probably also aerial combat music that can also fade in dynamically. That stuff is so much fun to make. It's crazy. Dynamic music is lovely. Graham Cracker says, my father-in-law came in during the Triforce of Poultry. He's like, what is this? And I think it's awesome. The Triforce of Poultry. The water splashes are important, Skelly. Hey, Jay. Jay says, hi Tim, love your music and tutorials. Would it be possible to set out the names of the tones keys so that's easier to follow when playing along? That's a good question. Maybe that's just something I can enable on Synthesia. Let's see. Hoe werkt dit? There we go. Something like that, Jay. I hope that helps. Oh, yeah. Oh, you can't see it now, of course, because there's a window in the way. There's a window in the way. There's a window in the way. Sounds like the Lion King. There we go. Yeah, that only appears when I end the note. That maybe not be super useful, but maybe it is. Anyways, is that what you were looking for, Jay? Ta da 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 da. Oh, Annabelle says the music is also rising up, which would be interesting, an interesting juxtaposition if we're going down, but music is going up. Yeah, also like that. You know, the tension is kind of rising if the music is rising, even though you're going down, because of course you're probably asking yourself, I'm going to land safely, and where will I end up landing? So I think that thematically that also makes sense. Scott says, the only thing I'm not excited about is waiting 6 more years for after Tears of the Kingdom. Yeah, I think, you know, in my mind I kind of subtract like at least 1 COVID year from that. Maybe even more, because in Japan the COVID lockdowns were especially strict, I believe, and they started vaccinating a little bit later than some Western countries. So it might even be 1.5 years of the COVID delay. Yeah, the world really stopped moving for a while. So hopefully it's not longer than 5 years, but you know, you can't know. You can't know. Joe Miller says, can't wait to hear what the composers have created for the deep, deep underground ambience. The truly unnerving and terrifying dissonance. Well, we already had a little bit of a taste of that in the Divine Beast music, which was already quite unsettling. So if they go even harder on that, then, you know, I'm already getting sweaty palms thinking of that. Maybe they have like a contrabassoon, like a super low woodwind instrument, or maybe they're going for not a woodwind family, but another kind of instrument family. Maybe they're going for a really deep brass or something. Elias Skyhawk says, on the matter of there being other abilities, the bird thing he lands on has a footprint symbol on it in the same style as the Ultra Hand symbol. Yeah, I was thinking that as well. I'm not sure what that'd mean. Maybe you can summon, maybe it's a sort of a failsafe, so if you fall off a sky island that's really up high and you haven't activated any fast travel options yet, you can summon the bird thing so you don't have to travel all the way back up again. Flying house, with a bicycle propeller, of course, like in Skyward Sword. Ooh, yeah. Scott says, I still think the most atmospheric music in a Zelda game is the final night music in Majora's Masks. Yeah, agreed. That's beautiful. And creepy. Would be nice if the note labels were on the beginning of the note instead of the end of the note. Maybe that's a result of using free play. Ah, whatevs. Isaac says, how about doing Yoshi's Island from Mario Kart 8? Oh my god, that music is amazing. Like, they completely nailed what the original was trying to do back in the day. They changed some rhythms up, if I remember correctly. So it starts out with the violin, the Mario Kart 8 version of Yoshi's Island. Then you have something like a jazzy Dixieland kind of thing that makes it a little bit more free. Love it so much. Especially the... When I heard that remix for Mario Kart 8, I really felt like I was 8 years old again. That's such a good remix. It's incredible. Yoshi's Island. It's the GOAT. The GOAT! Yesterday during the improv theater, I had some Yoshi's Island moments as well. And then I look at the players, see if anybody recognizes it. I was playing... whatever. I was playing along with together with a percussionist, and he's a massive nerd as well, so we had a lot of fun together. Anyway, so that was the Yoshi's Island interlude. Rachel says, I wonder what the malice holes are for. I'm thinking we can probably glide down into the middle and head underground. I'd love that, honestly, if those were actual holes in the ground. Maybe, like... You probably can't get in there through Hyrule because there's malice all around. So maybe you have to travel to a sky island so you can dive straight in. That would be an interesting gameplay loop. Like you have to get up to get down, so to speak. You have to reach a sky island to dive down into the deep underground because you can't get past the malice otherwise. That's also... an interesting little thing. Annabelle asks, do you think we'll hear even more of that glitch choir we heard from the 2019 and 2021 trailers? I think so, yeah. I think that's part of their musical language that they developed. There was a choir in the February trailer as well. That one was a live choir, though. It wasn't glitchy and synthesized. So maybe they changed up the sound a little bit using that live choir. That could also be interesting. You know what would be awesome? If they had a basso profundo, like a super low bass singer in the underground. That'd be awesome. Mickey asks, Tim, what do you think of the music that plays while Ganondorf is talking in the last trailer? I think it's interesting. It's the one that goes like... and then the other thing goes like... I arranged that on the piano, and of course also the extended orchestral version of that, I arranged it. On the one hand, it's not terribly exciting because it's like relatively standard sounding epic music, but if you listen to the surround sound version of that piece of music, if you have the YouTube app on your television, for example, and you have a surround sound system, you can hear that entire trailer in surround. And then you hear also some interesting like Japanese taiko drums and stuff in the background, and that spices it up. It isn't as clear in the in the stereo mix. So I do like that, the traditional Japanese elements in that. Rebuilding Hyrule, yeah, that'll be interesting. They also have something more to lose now that Ganondorf is back up. Hey, hey, Hinata Potato. Welcome back. Facility use, hi. You have a quiet performance later today. Oh, best of luck. I think we're going to be creeped out majorly by this game. I think it's going to be a game with a lot of contrasts. So where Hyrule is still a little bit of the melancholy, English is hard. Melancholy, maybe a little bit of rebuilding hope and stuff. And the Sky Islands are like what we saw, more of the spiritual kind of stuff. The underground will be, I think, the nasty dark things, like we saw in the 2019 trailer. So that's an interesting balance. Essentially, this game is just the ancient cistern from Skyward Sword, but then made into an entire game. Can you do Coconut Mall? Oh, Coconut Mall is a lot of hard work, man. I also have to do the trumpet for Coconut Mall, I think. Alexander Hasselhoff, he was at the he was one of the judges during the improv theater thing yesterday. He was one of the people that I think was getting most of my references. I also was doing some cheesy power metal references, Sonata Arctica stuff. So congrats, Alexander, you were one of the very few people who got that reference. Hi, Fanatic Chain, welcome back. Oh, okay, bye. How about Gerudo Valley? That sounds like an interesting one. I wanted to play Gerudo Valley during the improv stuff yesterday, but I kept playing Dragon Roost Island by accident, so I have to think how that one goes again. Now I'm glad that I didn't play this yesterday. Wasn't one of my best takes, this. Ah, whatever. That's what happens. It's my sloppy playing that you're all coming for. Yeah, I love throwing in the... If you want to see me suffer, you should watch my Dark Beast Ganon arrangement. But I do love playing the motif. It's the most awesome thing in there anyway. And it's also very easy to play, so what more do you want? Oh man. Scott says, we should petition a Monk Mass Corsia Dark Beast Ganon mashup. Oh dang. You know, if I ever reach 100,000 subscribers, I will play Dark Beast Ganon and Monk Mass Corsia live on stream. Alright? I promise. Might take a few years. I'm now almost at a 30k. And the 30k took me 7 years to get here. So it might take a while. It might take a while anyways. I'm gonna reach 30k real soon. I'm now at 29,951. So somewhere in the coming week, which is very cool. You may save that to your phone, Scott, and if I reach 100k, you may remind me, and I will practice. It's gonna take me at least a month, though, to get those pieces into my memory, because both of those were honestly a little bit above my technical capabilities. But if I practice hard enough, I will do a rendition live on stream. May not be perfect, but I'll get as close as I can. Yeah, if you like Gerudo Valley and want to hear it in a different way than the botched version I just did, you can check out my Hyrule Highlands, my Celtic version, which is nice and groovy with fake trumpets and live accordion, drums, guitar, all that kind of stuff. Also, I surprise released Song of Healing, the Celtic version of that. I'm going to be releasing more stuff regularly onto Spotify as singles, instead of waiting until I have an entire album. And Song of Healing was the first one to make it through licensing. So I'm very glad with that nice, relaxed, mellow, intimate version of Song of Healing. So if you like that, you should check out your Spotify or Apple Music or Amazon, whatever. Any one of those streaming services, it's on. Dark World is also in the pipeline, in the licensing pipeline. It was a little bit more difficult, but I had some help from Sam from ZREO to try to get it released anyways on streaming. And I haven't seen him here yet, but I'm very close to finishing a Parasail Celtic version. I'm just gonna have to think about my planning a little bit, because I don't want to have stuff releasing during the Tears of the Kingdom craziness. And on the 12th of April, and exactly a month before Tears of the Kingdom releases, the Ultimate Piano Collection will be released, which is a collection of all my Breath of the Wild tracks on Spotify and streaming. So it's a ginormous album, and it contains all of these stuff I've done on the first, second, and third Piano Collection albums, and some stuff on the Pieces of Heart album. So if you want to get hyped for Tears of the Kingdom, you should definitely check the album out as soon as it releases on Tuesday. Hey, Anas, welcome. See you later, UA. Hey Don. Hoi. Leuk dat je even langskomt. Fun to see folks nerding about Monster Maze showing up in chat. Loved your vocals, Don, in your most recent video. Zone I confirmed. Gotta do a vocal collaboration soon. And you missed the Cuckoo chicken segment of this stream, unfortunately. Alexander says, by the way, Tim, did I hear correctly yesterday that you were playing the Elder Scrolls theme Jupiter from Gustav Holst? Yeah, I think the previous stream I played some Jupiter. What I was playing just now was the First Contact music from a Star Trek movie from the 90s, which is one of the most beautiful chorale style stuff that I've heard. It's just so beautiful stuff. And also that's Jerry Goldsmith, by the way. Jerry Goldsmith also wrote the theme music for Star Trek Voyager, which I didn't really like, the series that is, but I loved the music. That goes like... Also a very beautiful chorale style composition. And it's kind of Zelda-like with all the fourths and the fifths in there. Monster Maze asks, what do you think of the music on the islands in the new gameplay demonstration? Sounds a bit jazzy, doesn't it? Yeah, the instrumentation sounds a little bit jazzy with the saxophones or English horn or clarinet or stuff that's going on there. Like from a music theory standpoint, it is... similar to a lot of Breath of the Wild stuff, in my opinion, using like parallel fourths. I think they were using parallel fifths during some of the stingers, some of the short segments of music on the Sky Islands. I did really love it though. It was very bright and sunny sounding, which fits the environment really well, obviously. And saxophone in an orchestral setting is not something that's very common, so I do like that they've used that. And it was something like a Celesta during the skydiving segment. We just discussed lots of stuff about this, but there's all kinds of interesting musical things happening there. And the erhu is used a lot. Facility Hughes says, yeah, so the erhu is a Chinese violin that's used in lots of Nintendo music lately. For example, if you play Dragon Driftway, I think it's called in English, from Mario Kart 8, there's an erhu going crazy in there. And Breath of the Wild, of course, uses it in its main theme. And then Skyward Sword used it for the dragons. And Breath of the Wild also used it for the dragons. And now the erhu is just going completely bonkers. which I adore. It's so cool to hear that instrument like super athletically going through its range. Let's see if I can reopen that. Yeah, that video I was listening to lately from Zelda Lore, in which he removed the voiceover. I really love the rhythm they're doing there. Ta, da, da, da. Like really setting you up for that beautiful air stuff. Yeah, love that stuff so much. I also think that it's not something that we discussed in the earlier portion of the stream, but I think there's a little more than a little bit of Mascosha in here. So maybe he'll return. Take a listen to this flute here. It's very similar to the Mascosha stuff. I'll look that up as well. Monster Maze asks, is that the same instrument we hear again? Yeah, it's the erhu, the Chinese violin. You can also hear it in Skyward Sword Dragon music, for example. First I thought it was a music, a thing for dragons in Zelda. This is the flute. Here it is. It's the same kind of instrument, the erhu again. And of course, in Breath of the Wild, you have the same instrument going on. Yeah, it's a beautiful instrument. I think it's very hard to play as well, because it's a violin kind of instrument with just 2 strings, if I'm correct. So dragons do have something to do with the erhu, or maybe like spiritual stuff. They link the erhu to that. The erhu also had a very prominent role in the second teaser. So, Tears of the Kingdom second teaser. At the end, when you can see how Hyrule Castle is floating in the sky, you can also hear the erhu. Very prominently. And they got a real erhu this time. In Breath of the Wild, they only had a live erhu in the main theme, but not in the dragon music. And then to kind of round out the set, let's just look up the main theme from Breath of the Wild. You can hear it in the chorus of that track. Probably here. So they do have a history using the erhu. Yeah, I think the erhu was synthesized in the dragon music in Skyward Sword. It was synthesized. The dragon music in Breath of the Wild it was synthesized. But I think in the Breath of the Wild main theme, the Tears of the Kingdom, what we assume is a main theme, and also the Zelda's Lullaby segment, I think that's a real one, because the transitions sounded much too natural. Yeah, they're playing Zelda's Lullaby. I really think that Tears of the Kingdom kind of relates to how everybody assumes that Zelda's dead, probably. Maybe she is dead, by the way. Nah, she's playable, right? That's true, yeah. Zelda, of course, is the kind of the wisdom character in the series. So maybe the Erhu is linked to wisdom as a virtue? That's definitely possible, even though the Erhu was playing with every dragon in Breath of the Wild, not just the blue one. But it does have a spiritual link. I kind of expect the Erhu to go not so in a sky island. That will be a prominent sky island. Yeah, I'm gonna have a field day when this game releases. So it releases on a Friday, and then I'm gonna play it a Friday night as much as I can. And then the kid will probably play it on Saturday a lot. I'm kind of curious what y'all think. I was intending to do a weekly piano arrangement of Tears of the Kingdom, not burn myself out by doing more than that. Because you're all playing the game along with me, so you know it takes a while before you hit the segments of the game in which the juicy pieces of music are. So I think I'm gonna do one single track a week. Maybe also do a live stream every week for a while, and then Tears of the Kingdom will be my life the coming few years, so to speak. Because with Breath of the Wild, I kind of stopped arranging that stuff a little bit too quickly. And Tears of the Kingdom, I'm just going ham. Just piano stuff, then Celtic stuff, maybe some other styles. It's gonna be a party. It's a party! Monster Maze says, it seems they will keep a lot of the old music for the familiar locations. The stable music sounds the same. I guess the new stuff is saved for brand new locations, which we haven't seen much of yet. Yeah, there seems to be some new material in the little bit we heard on the surface. Mainly, there seems to be more connecting tissue between the music we've heard. In general, I think the music will be a little bit more prominent in this game, because also on the Sky Islands, and as soon as combat's over and the combat music stops, you get like 2 seconds of silence before the saxophones or whatever start again. So there'll probably be a lot of new material tying the old material together on the surface. Personally, I hope they don't recycle too much. You know, there's kind of a balance between having stuff that's iconic as a sort of, you know, you could call it fan service or just a reminder of the old game. But the old game was the previous game, so there's nothing in between Tears of the Kingdom and Breath of the Wild. So it's all very fresh still, for me at least. The stables music and the horse riding music. But I think they kind of want to have that Hyrule feeling that you had in Breath of the Wild, initially at least, very strongly, and then differentiating the music and the soundscape in the sky and under the ground first. And then, you know, what we have seen so far, it seems like the overworld, like Hyrule, is a little bit more dynamic. So maybe stuff is changing over the course of the narrative, and then the music also changes more. I think that could be very interesting. Scott says, I'm kind of disappointed that they're keeping the same music in familiar locations. It feels like a cop-out to me. Majora's Mask could have borrowed from OOT, but Koji Kondo was a legend. Yeah, I still have the feeling that they're doing this intentional to show as little as they can of that game. And also, you know, with the Sky Islands, that stuff is really different. Could also be that they've just added lots and lots of stuff in the new locations. And the old locations, at least initially, will stay the same for now. But I do agree, my initial reaction during the gameplay music was, you know, riding, we already know stables, we already know the cold music. So I hope they don't lean too much on that. But if they've made music more prominent in-game, and it seems like they have from the little part we have seen, maybe there's just a bonkers amount of music going on all the time to keep long playthroughs interesting. You need a lot of musical material, and if you have all kinds of different biomes, underground and above ground, that also have their own musical identity, it could be that they were like, yeah, you know, the more we leave what we have in there, the more we can focus on truly new stuff. Who knows? Facility Use says, my guess is that they reused old tracks but put slight variations in to differentiate. That's true, we only heard very small parts, and we already heard that the horse riding music had a new intro, so... It's kind of a talky stream, this. I don't really mind. As I said, I played lots of piano yesterday, so talking is fine by me. But I'd like to play a little bit more music. How about that? I don't know a lot of Delfino, not a lot of Super Mario Sunshine music though, Druvil. I do know. Let's see if I can play that from memory. Da 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 da. That's kind of fun. It's a cute track. Yeah. All year. So, how about a little bit more music? Any other suggestions? Zelda's Lullaby backwards. Hateno and Rito Village medley. That's interesting. Let me think. I could play Eulogy, yeah. It's improv based, so I might go off the rails. Oh yeah, See you later, Mardan. Thanks for stopping by. Glad y'all liked that, folks. Yeah, so Eulogy for the Vanished is an original composition inspired by, in part by the final memory from Breath of the Wild, and the rest just generally inspired by Zelda stuff. If you like that, you should definitely check out Open Air, 2 albums of mine on Spotify with Zelda-inspired original work. Oh yeah. Gateway Galaxy, that's interesting. Let's look it up. Frooby 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 froop, frooby 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 froop froop. Let's see. Concentration is kind of going out of the window at the end of a stream. Gateway Galaxy, there we go. Eulogy for the Free Froob. Yeah, I did change some stuff, Psychonic Joe. Because as I said, it was improv based, so I can't remember 100% what I played. Oh yeah. Dee 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 dee. See you later, Silly and Denis. Yeah, pretty. Or something like that. Happy Easter, Graham. Almost. There we go. It's not a Timmermans stream without a stupid ending, isn't it? I already played Korok Forest Skelly in the beginning of the stream. I played it in a little bit of a floaty style. See you later, Scott. Da, 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 da. Da, da, da. Yeah, I'm kind of ending the stream, reaching the 2-hour point. I'm getting hungry. A few quick little things. I do not know Swear to My Bones, Spetsly. I've heard some Persona 5 stuff. I think it could be nice to do a Persona 5 play-along stream in which I put on the soundtrack based on your suggestions and then just jam along, because it's a very jammy soundtrack, what I've heard at least. Hey, Romana! Just in time for the ending. Fijn Pasen. Urgent Gaming, I do know Coloctus' theme. I'm not going to play it right now because I'm getting hungry. But I do know it. You can find it on my channel. Also, I think I've played it on the stream before. And there were some other things here and there. I'm Dutch, Jeroen. Yeah. I think if I was Belgian, my terrible English pronunciation would have been terrible in a different way. Alrighty. I think it's important to do the final little things that the streams always require, which is the Coffee and Cheese podcast featuring all my patrons. So every patron that contributes 10 euros or more a month gets a shout out in my streams and in my videos. And also get some goodies. You can also get goodies if you support me for 1 or 5 euros a month. I love all my patrons equally. The shoutouts are reserved to the highest tier patrons because else this would have been a very long stream with mainly shoutouts, which is a luxury problem, you could say. I'm very thankful for my patrons. Let's see if I can do this correctly now. So yeah, the patrons keep this channel afloat financially, along with the streaming income, which is why I have my albums going past in the corner there to motivate people to check out my music on streaming as well. That way I can sort of pay my rent doing this, which is kind of amazing. I have covered Terrytown in the past, yeah, I did, so that's something for next stream. I promise that the next stream won't be as long a wait as this one was, so I can catch up a little bit more with all your suggestions. So welcome to the final part of this podcast, and I'd like to thank all my sponsors. I'd like to thank, what are the standard sponsors right now on YouTube? There's like, I'd like to thank Manscaped and Audible, and of course NordVPN, and if you haven't played Raid Shadow Legends, you really should. I'm not sponsored by any of those, by the way, I don't use it either. I also feel a little bit weird when I see a sponsor, but you know, I can't blame folks for wanting to keep the lights on. Anyways, thanks so much to Squarespace. Do you like playing the piano just like me? You should really use Squarespace. I don't even know what Squarespace is. Anyways, shoutouts to my top tier patrons: Flashing Fire, Monoman, Mandelion, Masatoshi, HSP Air, Clown Pierce, Random Citizen. Oh, I missed you, Random Citizen. See you next time. Aspiring Hero Games here in the chat. NS also here in the chat. Thanks so much. George R, Rio S, Patrick, Joshua, and Hoppip. And if I missed you because I'm still doing this wrong, getting my patrons on my screen so I can read them, then I apologize because I'm a little bit of a boomer. I'm a boomer, yeah. He's such a boomer, oh. I think those were all. Yeah, those were all. Oh, yeah. Maybe I can get sponsored by an anime farming simulator. That's really my thing. Yeah. And thanks to you as well for stopping by on this 30-second piano hangout stream featuring lots of talking, which was very cozy. We had a celebrity appearance with Monster Maze here in the chat, and I hope you enjoyed it. And I wish you all a great Easter, and I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.